What is up, YouTube? Coming at you from my fiance's house. I recorded a video earlier this week about how to clean your throttle body. I did it on my 2015 Accord because I was having some slight performance issues. However, I'm not happy with it. And the reason why I'm not happy with it is for a lot of the reasons why I don't like a lot of the automotive YouTubers on the platform, because they get distracted super easily, start talking about stuff that has nothing to do with the video that they're trying to film, and then you're sitting there and you're like, what the heck? I clicked on your stupid video to learn about this and you're talking about this, that, or the other thing. Well, so I got in that trap. I'm going to redo the job, document it better, knock it off on nearly as many side quests, if you will, not get sidetracked nearly as much, and I'm going to do the job, show you how to clean a throttle body, show you why to clean the throttle body, why is it necessary, how to do it, and any other steps along the way that can make it easier for you. So I'm going to start getting this disassembled. Any major steps I will come back and show you. So because I have an aftermarket intake, the first steps specifically on a 4th generation 4Runner, if you are looking to clean your body, or you should probably clean your body, but your throttle body, if you're looking to clean your throttle body on your 4Runner, the first initial steps, my first initial steps, are going to be very different than yours. Taking off the intake, the stock intake on this thing, really isn't that hard at all. There's plenty of other, I'm sure there are plenty of other videos about it, how to take the intake off. There's only 2 bolts that I can remember and a couple of vacuum lines that you have to remove. So when you get to this spot, there are 4 bolts holding on. There are 4 10mm bolts that hold it on, as well as a connection here. Now this throttle body is what's known as a drive-by-wire system, meaning that the throttle position is controlled electronically. So it's important that you don't touch the throttle plate with this connected, otherwise you can mess up the idle and all that fun stuff. Different cars have different procedures to reset the quote idle. It's like an idle relearn procedure. So Honda is a little more complicated. As far as I know, this Toyota here has a pretty much self-learned, you don't have to do anything but just start the car up and drive it, and it kind of does it on its own. So I'll get to the point where I have the throttle body off, and then we'll talk about it some more. All right, now our throttle body's off. 4 10mm bolts are holding it on. The important thing to know about most modern vehicles now with a drive-by-wire system is that they're more often than not going to have some sort of coolant going through them. And they do this for one primary reason, is to prevent the throttle body and the valve inside from freezing up, especially during cold temperatures. They do this because if it freezes up and it's not able to operate properly, you could have a runaway scenario where your throttle doesn't close, and then you are stuck behind the wheel of a vehicle that is flying down the road. I'm going to try to leave my opinion out of it. I don't see how that could ever happen. I'm not saying that it can't, but it makes it a little bit more annoying. On my Accord, I deleted this altogether. I took the coolant situation out of it. Took the coolant, rerouted it itself back into the engine, and I don't have any coolant going through my throttle body anymore. On this, I did not do that. So my coolant lines are still hooked up. But I got it off enough to look on the backside. And you can see on the backside there actually is some, I'm going to call it soot. It probably has a better name than soot. But there is definitely some soot built up on the back there. And where it really starts to build up is on the bottom of the butterfly valve there. That can sometimes prevent it from closing all the way. It can give you some idle issues like I was getting on my Accord. I was having some idling issues when I would put the clutch in. So I'm going to go get a rag and a little bit of cleaner. We're going to clean it with it disconnected. Make sure you have it disconnected from its from the wire loom here. With it disconnected, you can adjust the throttle plate, move it back and forth, do whatever you have to do. Do not do that with it connected though. So we're going to come back after I have it cleaned. We're going to see what it looks like. All right, guys, I have a little bit of a storm breathing down on me, so I'm trying to do this a little bit quick. So that's what it looks like when it's nice and clean. Now you're not going to get it 100%, but you're going to do enough to where you get enough that soot off. And sometimes, a lot of times that soot will build right underneath where the throttle plate meets the metal right here, and it could prevent it from closing all the way, and it can prevent it from operating normally and idling normally. So that's why you want to clean these things every now and then. Anyway, I'm going to get this button backed up before the storm hits, and then I'll recap after. All right, guys, we got it all buttoned up before the storm came. It's pretty close, but the important thing to remember here, I did it all with hand tools, much to my own chagrin, because, well, I like power tools, and I like using power tools. They make life easy and make this job a lot quicker. But you can do it with hand tools. 10 millimeters is what you need, and then I think the clips to loosen these hose clamps on mine are 8 millimeter, or some other SAE equivalent. I don't know what it is. But like you saw, you can clean it while keeping the coolant lines attached. You don't have to disconnect those if you don't want to. So everything's buttoned back up. What we're gonna do now is start it up, let it run for a little bit, at least while the verify that everything's plugged back in. I plugged back in the throttle body sensor, or I'm sorry, a throttle body connection. That's the only connection that I undid. So we're gonna close this. I might not have time to start it up and let it run, but we'll see. Start it up, let it run. Ideally, you probably want to disconnect the battery, but I keep track of my miles in between oil changes, and it erases it on that trip. So I'm gonna start it up. It's probably gonna idle a little high. I've noticed when I've done this cleaning before, it idles a little high. So the truck is fully warmed up because I just drove it here about an hour down to my fiance's house. The idle should be right around 600 or so, 700, and it's a little bit high. So it's going through its own little relearn procedure. So I'm gonna let it run as long as it takes, or as long as I can before I start getting wrecked with rain here. And it should come back down. But it's an important procedure, as you saw with the before and after. A lot of stuff gets built up on the back there. It can prevent it from closing properly. Your butterfly valve on the throttle body, it can prevent it from closing properly. Can cause some idling issues. So it's important maintenance. I don't know, maybe once a year or so, and the rain is coming. So thanks you guys so much for watching. Appreciate it. Give a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.